I'm gonna shield this just in case. Oh gosh. Okay, this is not a Mega Horn at least. Jesus. Okay. What do they have in the back? Oh, Ludicolo. I think we can still win this. Dude, the double acid spray is kind of brutal though. Oh, actually no. I think we don't win this. Double acid spray? Jesus. I'll say Bastie's toxic. This is toxic. Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. I've been back from Milwaukee since yesterday, and I haven't played a ton of Fossil Cup, but I did play a decent amount with a Bastion team. So Bastion seems pretty weak in this meta, full of Lucario, Escavalier, Swampert, a lot of other waters, Registeel. I was determined to see if I can make Bastion work, because like I said, if you got some skills, you can make Bastion work, and this seemed like the prime condition to put that theory to the test. And I gotta say, overall, I did quite well with a Bastion team. I ran the Bastion the lead with a Shadow Poliwrath and a Pelipper in the back. You don't have to have Pelipper as a Shadow variant, but I think it is definitely better in this specific meta. And I was pretty low on dust when I first ran this team. So some of the battles you'll see, I only have a single move Poliwrath, and it still put in work. Before we get into the rest of the footage, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access on my strategies and lineups, or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the link down below. Registeel lead. This is probably the hardest lead for this entire team. You'll probably lose the majority of these, but I'll show you some battles on how you can pull out some victories. The big thing is Poliwrath is the only thing that can beat Registeel straight up. And the problem is you have to pretty much safe swap it, because if you don't, the Registeel can just end up taking out your Pelipper, or doing a lot of other things. So I do grab a shield from my opposing Pelipper, which is kind of nice. It looks like we're lagging a little bit, but it doesn't matter because I wouldn't have gotten to another charge move. The big thing is you want to potentially get a shield down, and you want to have this Pelipper low enough in health that you can smack it down and get to a flamethrower. So in this specific situation, I did charge off the Dynamic Punch, but the better option is actually just to not swipe a single bubble, because if they don't shield it, then it's going to be too low for you to farm a lot of energy. So it actually worked out that they shielded it, but what I found out later is you want to throw the charge move, but actually not swipe a bubble, because there's no way you actually flip that matchup. So what you want to do is put it so that it's in a range where you can flamethrower, and pretty much no Registeel shield there, especially if they were invested shield. Now that flamethrower is going to do a lot more damage than these weather balls, so getting that flamethrower off is crucial for this strategy. Now they're still staying in here, and let's see what they come in with. They come in with a Mantine, so they're actually running a Registeel with double flying waters in the back. So a pretty solid team, but in this situation you want to just keep your Pelipper nice and healthy, and now that our switch timers are a little bit misaligned, it kind of works out. So they're going to throw a Bulb Beam, and Bastion, very, very bulky, able to double resist those wing attacks and get to a Stone Edge, which is perfect. Because I want this Registeel to have minimal farm, and I pretty much had some health remaining, so that's perfect. And then can finish off the Registeel. It still had a shield too, I believe. Yeah, another really bad lead. And again, you want to go straight Poliwrath. As you can see here, at this point in time, I did have a second move. And this opponent actually lets the Dynamic Punch go, and it's a very obvious Hydro Cannon, so I'm just going to let it go as well. And then now I'm going to farm a low energy, see what they come in with, and they come in with a Jellicent. So this is okay. We have the entire lineup here, but the problem is, again, you need the Poliwrath to take out the Swampert, the Registeel. So what I'm going to do is actually pivot out here. Because what this does is I still have the Poliwrath to put in some work, and I'm going to start spamming these away because I really want to chip this Jellicent down as much as possible so that my Poliwrath does not have to face it. They're going to throw a Bulb Beam, which is fine because, again, I just need the Poliwrath against this thing. Now, I do get this Weather Ball off, which I am debuffed at this point, but it's still not too bad. I am going to shield what's probably a focus blast, but that's okay, and I'm going to bait with the ice punch. So the main thing is they're scared of dynamic punch. There's nothing else that's going to do a severe amount of damage. So I do have to bait here, and we grab both their shields. Do we get to a third charge move? And we do. Very clutch there. Able to finish off, and then now the Bastion's going to have an easy time against the Jellicent. So, you know, again, these Registeel and the lead matchups are not easy, but every team has a weakness, and that's probably the biggest weakness for this one. But there are win cons. You just have to play around with the energy and see what happens. A lot of times you might not win those, but that's okay. All right, Jellicent in the lead. This is one of those where Bastion's much better. Because they could just win this straight up, especially because most Jellicents are not running bubble. Here's the thing with Ice Punch. If you have Ice Punch, you're more likely to bait, and that might not be always the best thing. So if you just had Dynamic Punch, you just throw the move right away. But in that situation, I was able to get a shield there, which is crucial. Because now, even though we're double debuffed here, I do have a lot of energy here. And again, because you're only taking lockdown damage, you can always swap out and pivot out. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. And I know the Bastion can handle the Jellicent, so let's see what they have in the back here. So they're going to throw the Shadow Ball, and I should be able to get to a Hurricane. Unfortunately, they do throw right beforehand, but it's just a Bubble Beam, so that's perfect because now I do get this Hurricane off. Some crucial damage here, and then I throw another Web Ball here. So this is big. I want to stall out the timer. I know I'm not going to win this matchup, or actually somehow we do win it. But even if we don't win it, we want the timer to be up so that I can actually swap out if necessary. This is going to be definitely a Power Punch, which is perfect because with all that energy I stored from earlier, this is going to come in handy. I don't even need a bait at this point. Just throw Dynamic Punches and take it out. Didn't even use Bastion on that team or in that specific match, which is fine. Sometimes that'll happen. All right, Lucario, and this is not great because they do come in straight away with the Pelipper. And this is something I was doing early on when I got the second move, because I didn't really have Ice Punch to play around with before. I didn't really see the difference. But I think what I recognize is you actually want to throw the Dynamic Punch first. It does more damage, and that way they're more likely to shield the second move. Once you throw that first Ice Punch, they're less likely to shield that second move, and then you're less likely to burn shields, right? In that situation, I didn't get a single shield from the Pelipper, whereas the previous situation I did. All right. To win this matchup, I pretty much need to bait and get a Weather Ball shielded, which happens pretty early, which is nice. And then now I do get to this Hurricane, which is quite nice. And then I believe I do shield this. So I think my thought process here is if the Lucario is going to come in here, I want them to have to throw Shadow Ball. Obviously, Shadow Ball is going to do a lot of damage, but I don't want to be baited by Power Punches. And also on top of that, if they throw the Shadow Ball here, that means they don't have any boosted damage for the Bastiodon. That is still going to be brutal because this is double resisted smackdowns, and these are double super effective counters and Power Punches. But it looks like we just get to the Flamethrower. I need to throw this as soon as possible and no time to overfarm. And I'm just going to have to smack down this Zumro. If they don't have Hydro Pump, I win. And they don't. Most do not. And we take out the Zumro. So, definitely a close one. But again, even against something like a Lucario lead, you have to play. This is definitely one of my earlier matches because I only have a single move Poliwrath. But that's okay. We do start throwing these Dynamic Punches. And we're going to shield the potential Drill Run. It's possible to Acid Spray. But the thing is, even with Acid Spray, they can't really counter you down that quickly, so it doesn't really help them too much because Drill Run is the same energy as Spray. And now we do get to this last Dynamic Punch, which is crucial because now we have switch advantage, and now we have play against whatever they have in the back. It ends up being a Lucario. So this is kind of tough because, yeah, it puts me in a tough spot. I want them to drop their energy so that I could potentially throw a Flamethrower or just let them drop all their energy. And now I come in Pelipper here. Oh my goodness, girl. She don't like the Pelipper, I guess. So this is a tough spot because, yes, Pelipper beats both of those Pokemon, but by itself, it's a little bit tough. So they throw a Hydro Cannon and they come with Lucario. I luckily do get the Weather Ball before I get countered down, but unfortunately just a little too much health there on the Lucario to feint it out. So we do lose that one. But, you know, Shadow Swampert, Escavalier, Lucario, they have 3 counters to Bastion. So if you do run into that, GG's, you know, you can only do so much there. But Against other Swampert leagues, they typically aren't as polarizing in the team compositions there. So I should have baited the Ice Punch first, but I guess getting the second shield here is fine too, because now we still managed to have a good matchup here. And then I am able to swap out here, which is crucial, because that way I have all my energy stored on the Poliwrath, and against the Ferrothorn, this is going to be a very solid match for me. So yeah, I'm not too worried. Now, I actually throw this instead of farming extra. Well, one, I thought it was going to knock it out, but it doesn't. But even if it did, I want the Swampert to have to throw its energy against my Bastion. So I'd rather take it out rather than get in a situation where I'm in mudshot territory. So they now come in with the Registeel. This is fine. It's going to one-shot my Pelipper, but I am putting in a range where one Dynamic Punch is enough to take out the Registeel. So at that point, it's kind of in a tough spot because his only value here is taking out my Pelipper, and now I have doubled up Dynamic Punches, and I know the Swampert is out of energy, so we can throw it and take it out. So this is a good example of using your Bastion almost like a meat shield. Just use it to neutralize the Ferrothorn, absorb all the damage you can, and then just prioritize the shields on the other two Pokemon. Alright, Pelipper in the lead. Obviously a good lead here. But the thing is, this Jellicent is actually quite troublesome for the backline, so I'd rather just do as much damage as I can here, and then maybe eventually swap over. So we're going to do as much as we can, and then now we swap over. We have a Stone Edge ready, so that Pelipper does have the shield if it wants to do anything here, and that I might be able to get to a Hurricane here. So let's see. No, I don't. But that's fine. We get a Weather Ball off, which is some crucial chip damage, especially if we decide to shield this Pelipper. And start throwing Weather Balls, because that could be that could make it a little tougher. So I'm going to throw it right away because I don't really want to have to take any extra Weather Ball damage. And then now we're going to smack it all the way down, and it looks like I decided to no shield, thinking that I definitely survive it, and I do. So I guess good calculation on my end. And then now we start farming down the Jellicent. You do have to shield this Power Punch. So something I noticed against Lucarios is if you choose not to shield it, you end up just losing because they start doing so much counter damage on top of the chip damage from the Power Punch. So you have to shield even Power Punches against Lucario. It's kind of the nature of Shadow Poliwrath, but able to finish off the Jellicent still there. Alright, another Pelipper lead. Let's see how they play it out a little differently. They actually safe swap their Whiscash, which is not too bad. I'm going to throw right before they get to Blizzard, which I knew they weren't going to shield, but the main thing is I don't want to throw the Hurricane and have them shielded, because then it gets kind of dicey. So I'd rather just throw the Weather Ball and get some guaranteed damage, or get a low value shield on their end. So definitely a Mud Bomb, so I let it go. And then this Pelipper still having a lot of energy is really nice, because I could drop Hurricanes or draw a shield. So now we're on even shields, even though they lost switch advantage. So that's always a good spot to be in if you're the one with switch advantage. It's probably another Weather Ball, which means that I can get a Weather Ball off, which is nice. Or not. Okay, maybe I thought I could. But anyway, alright, so we're in a good spot here. Registeel is not amazing against Poliwrath, so I am going to start throwing Dynamic Punches. They let the first one go. Kind of interesting, but... and then they shield the Ice Punch. Maybe they thought I was baiting. That's fine. Shields down, or just in the one shield, it does get dicey. But this Registeel is pretty low, and I actually throw a blind Stone Edge. There's a reason why I do this. Stone Edge is enough to take out the Registeel, so if they don't catch, then it's fine. If they do catch, you take out the Pelipper before they drop a Weather Ball. And if you look at my health on Bastion on the end, if I got hit by a Weather Ball there, because they caught a Flamethrower, I lose. I knew I survived a Focus Blast either way, which is why I wasn't really, pressed about, like them farming extra, right? That's why I didn't throw any moves initially. But once I had the Stone Edge, I'm going to throw the Stone Edge instead of the Flamethrower. Alright, so another Pelipper counter swap, but this is fine. I don't have a Flamethrower yet, but I'm definitely going to build up to it and throw it, because they already spent one shield, so they either let this go, or or they go down two shields, and that's exactly what's happening here. Going on two shields with Jellicent, this is much easier to handle. On even shields is a little trickier, especially with all those baits. I'm going to shield. I have two shields. This Escavalier does not have too much play against Pelipper. This is probably a Bow Beam, but I just want to shield just to be safe. And then we're going to farm a little extra just so I have some energy going into this Escavalier. And then going to start throwing some moves here. There's probably going to be a Drill Run. Or no, it's an Aerial Ace. definitely an interesting moveset because you don't see that very often. I throw this, and then yeah, we take out this Escavalier. Alright, another Escavalier lead here, a shiny Escavalier, kind of interesting. And then we go straight away, and this is met by another flyer. This time it's a Skarmory rather than a Pelipper, but still not the easiest to deal with, so we are going to just let this go. Again, against Escavalier leads, against Lucario leads, you want to just smack down and farm as much energy as you can with the Bastion. Because they are weak to fire, Escavalier being double weak to fire is even better. And they actually end up coming in Swampert here, so a great catch by them because it kind of put me in an awkward position. But now because of that, we are going to just shield all the Hydrocans. Hydrocans are resisted, but they still do a good chunk of damage, unlike Drillrun and Megahorn. Megahorn might do similar damage, but Drillrun's a little bit weaker, I believe. And then Acid Spray obviously is not a big deal. So it's much better to protect the Pelipper with those moves than the other ones. And we end up catching an Aerial Ace. So another Aerial Ace Escavalier, and they can see right there. Yeah, so you want to, I think the Hydrogen is much better to shield than anything that the Escavalier may have outside of Megahorn. Alright, Ferrothorn, very solid lead, like I mentioned before. And then they come in with Gastrodon. I'm going to go straight for the Hurricane just because this is one of those matchups where if they choose a shield, you can still probably beat them because Mudslap is so slow for energy generation. And then now they come in with the Pelipper, with the Ferrothorn, and I'm going to go straight for the Hurricane. Again, you want to build as much advantage as you can, and so, and then they're going to probably throw Power Whips, and that's okay. And then now they come in with their own Poliwrath. Oh, this is one of my early games, so I didn't have the second move yet, so I felt kind of in a tough spot, but they end up not shielding because they expected maybe I'm baiting there, which worked out perfectly because I can't possibly bait with this Poliwrath at the moment, but, they don't know that. Alright, this puts me in a very good spot. I could have done a move there, but it doesn't really matter because we could just finish off with Smackdowns. There's no way to win this. Alright. Magnezone. You don't see these a ton, but I've seen quite a few of them towards the end of the week. And this is one of those situations where if they go Wild Charge, they're going to debuff themselves, and they probably have to swap out unless you want to risk shielding Flamethrower while debuffed. Alright, so they come in with Jellicent here, and again, Jellicent is kind of a tough one to swap to, I'm going to say and do as much damage as possible, and then probably come in with Pelipper. This is good because if they throw a Shadow Ball, it's not a big deal. They have a Magnezone in the back, and so I don't really plan on winning that anyway, so I don't need that shield. I'm going to just dump all my shields onto that Poliwrath and maybe one on Bastion. But yeah, this is good because the Weather Balls are still neutral and we get both shields there, which is kind of crucial. They haven't seen my third Pokemon yet, and what I'm really hoping is the Poliwrath can clean it up because Mudshots are double resisted, or double super effective, even though it doesn't have stab. And if they throw Wild Charge ever, they're going to be debuffed, so it's going to do even better. But this one is content on just throwing Mirror Shots. I'm going to shield this just in case there's Wild Charge, I lose the game. It ends up being Mirror Shots, and then they're probably going to throw another one. This could be the Wild Charge, so I'm going to shield it for sure. And then here comes a Shadow Gyarados, so I think shielding made sense because Aqua Tail and Crunch are both resisted here, and because we had all that energy, it was a double Dynamic Punch to take out the Gyarados, and yeah, win the match. Alright, this is a weird one. I didn't really see any Melmetals besides this one specific match. Some of my patrons had mentioned they saw some Melmetals, but for this specific one, it is not great. I think staying in is the right call here, but I probably should have shielded. It's going to do a lot of damage, and what do you call it? Melmetal is very strong against the backline. Poliwrath obviously decent against it, but if it's running Thunderbolt, it could be kind of tough. And obviously Super Power is also neutral versus Poliwrath. Alright, I'm going to try to get shields down at this point because, or some of their shields down because I need some type of advantage, but I don't think I spend both shields here. No, I don't. I just don't have a ton of health remaining on my remaining Pokemon, so I do have to shield this potential Shadow Ball, and it is, and because of that, I could farm a little bit extra, start throwing these Weather Balls, but I don't think it's going to be enough because they still have a shield. And they go straight Rock Slide, and let's see what they do here. Ends up being a Thunderbolt, which I think is actually a really good call for this specific meta, and we can see right there. Be on the lookout for my next video. It'll be a recap of my trip to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I helped cast the regionals there. And it's been recently announced that I will also be casting the North America International Championships, which is in Columbus this upcoming weekend. So traveling again this weekend, but this will be the last big tournament until Worlds in London. So it definitely should be a really good one, and a lot of big names will be there. They sold out all their tickets within minutes. So if you're in Columbus, feel free to say hi. We can take some photos and maybe do some trades. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll catch you all next time.